Okay, today we're going to be watching YouTube. Yeah, reacting, everyone. We will be reacting to this video. Now, I'm going to test how scared I can get, considering the fact that I am a zoophobe, yeah? I'm scared of zoophiles, so hopefully I don't end up traumatized for life.
Before Amazon Business, buying for work was chaotic. Now it's easy to find.
I'll start off with the weird but still tame furry stories, and as time goes on, I'll dive into the disturbing and very illegal. I went through a lot of suffering while making this. I'll show you the clip without context first. Yep, there's not really a whole ton of context behind this video. It may look creepy and haunt you in your dreams, but North Fur FX, the creators behind this abomination, are just a few artists who do latex prosthetic masks for furries, but also movies and theaters as well. They got Shrek, but also various animals such as vampire bats, crows, donkeys, and the list goes on. Straight nightmare fuel, but for only a couple $100 you can turn yourself into every animal, ogre, monster you want.
I have a chase in the bag.
The pizza incident refers to an event that happened at Big Little FurCon, which is a furry convention. On September 22nd, 2021, Maine Wolfie created a poll asking if anybody wants to release their bodily fluids onto his pizza that he would order during the BLFC. The poll got 577 votes, with almost 70% being in favor of releasing their fluids. And everybody attending his party would give the pizza nonetheless, so win-win, I guess. Finally, on October 22nd, during the second day of Big Little FurCon, Maine Wolf hosted the pizza party. He ordered 6 pizzas, and yes, one of them would meet its disturbing fate. He would later post a tweet confirming that 19 people released their children onto that unlucky pizza. Here's a picture for you.
No, not the semen pizza.
Now, that
Who's more unlucky, the pizza or children?
Fortunately, the group decided against eating the pizza and just left it outside in the hallway.
Yeah, we aren't trying to eat semen, okay? We like semen in the cup. We like to drink it out of a jar. Okay, what am I yapping about?
Since minors
I've
can
never
work as
even
cleaning
seen
staff,
semen in
and
my
cleaning
life.
staff typically has
In
enough
real
to
life.
deal with in general. So the pizza was promptly disposed of. After it sat in the hallway for 3 hours, a few people touched it, and a few people hopefully lied about their actions. Nobody was actively hurt in the process though, which will not be the case for the later stories.
Confederate.
In 2015, a person called Magnus Deridian, or his real name Robert Sokovsky, would create a fursuit that was politically charged, to say the least. His suit was basically a walking Confederate flag. If you don't know what the Confederate flag stands for, go look it up. But for many, it's linked to the defense of slavery, not all people being created equally, etc. It's used by various groups, such as the Ku Klux Klan. I think that paints a good enough picture. This political kind of vibe fit perfectly with the current time, since the elections were just around the corner, and Magnus was actively promoting Trump. Since the furry community, more often than not, tends to be more on the other side of the political spectrum, he obviously got a bit of hate on Twitter and stuff. But that would be nothing.
Me personally, I don't really care about the politics side of thing. Like, a country is fucked either way.
Magnus would decide to take a suit to the Midwest Fur Fest, which is another furry convention. He was detained and banned from the convention relatively quickly for his own safety, since people started noticing his suit and were obviously annoyed. But Magnus did not give up. 2 years later, in 2017, Magnus would try again and attend the Athercon. But this time he actually tried to conceal the flag under a white sheet. His suit was obviously still against Athercon's policies, so he was kicked out. But they actually found out that he has not
looking like a ghost isn't going to help
from the whole convention until he made payments, which I'm not sure if he ever did. Now his last appearance probably takes the cake though. During the Midwest Fur Fest in 2017, Magnus tried to sneak into the convention, the one that he got banned from before. But he was still noticed since he literally wore a German World War I helmet as part of his fursuit in the hotel lobby. And he supposedly also said some pretty racist stuff and just
pair that with the Confederate fursuit and
in his underwear. What a way to start the month. He then proceeded to create a GoFundMe campaign to try to raise money for any legal fees.
I could guarantee that he got like £10 max.
Nobody would give up their hard-earned money for this cause. Now, all of these events weren't actually his first controversy, since Magnus had quite a long history of criminal charges before all of this happened.
Damn. Let's see what that is. On July 15th, 1999, my guy did a retail theft. October 8, 2002, just regular theft. May 5th, 2004, you got terroristic threats.
And that is also
Look, I don't care if I get demonetized. Like, it's not like I get any money off this anyway.
why he's gonna come up in the next story as well.
Chemical
This happened in
attack.
2014 during the Midwest Fur Fest. That convention has gone through some stuff, bro. That year, over 5,400 furries were just happily
Damn.
talking and
Yeah.
chilling, just doing their
Just
thing.
the
Everything
chill
went
time.
well until December 7th, the last night of the
God.
event. A chlorine gas attack sent 19
Okay, why does that clip look like a horror game? I thought I was in the back rooms or something, watching backrooms gameplay.
attendees to the hospital. Some furries on the 9th floor of the hotel were just doing their thing when they started smelling this disgusting odor that wasn't coming from another furry. It was something else. It got so bad that at 12:45 a.m. they decided to call the Rosemont Public Safety Department to see what's going
Reasonable.
on. By 1 a.m. the entire hotel was evacuated, and everyone inside the
Damn.
hotel was sent over to the Stevens Convention Center.
That is 4,500 or 5,400 people filing out of a building. How do you have enough time?
When firefighters checked out the scene, they found a broken
Why firefighters? Just get the Ghostbusters with their vacuums. Yeah, like this whole area is a massive ghost. Suck it all in.
glass
Check
jar
it
with
out.
white powder in it on the 9th floor stairway. And
Did you say white powder? Okay.
there was also some kind of liquid on the walls too. Not the type of liquid that was on the pizza though.
Thank
Turns
God.
out the air contained crazy levels of chlorine gas, which was most likely not very good for your lungs. Just my guess though. Right after the gas leak, the police said that it looked like someone did this on purpose, and so they launched a criminal investigation.
no
The
one
police and
sets up a
even the
stink bomb
FBI
on
talked to
accident.
suspects, hotel guests, employees, and even hospital staff. This was a big deal now. The people attending these furry events were scared because they didn't know if these attacks would keep coming, and a big convention was coming up as well. The FBI kept digging into the case, and
Can't
one of
believe
the
the big
main
one.
suspects was the one and only Magnus. First, if Magnus would be the actual perpetrator, it wouldn't have been his first chemical attack. As already said, his criminal history is quite long, and so the police actually searched his apartment. They didn't really find anything except for a roll of red duct tape, which belonged to one of his roommates. But they did confiscate the duct tape because it looked very similar to the one that was used for the construction of the gas device jar. When he was asked where he was between 11 and 12:30 a.m. on that day, he said that he was on the higher floors with one of his roommates, which would also align with the fact that it all happened on the 9th floor.
Damn, bro
But
just
at the
fucked
end, there
himself
wasn't any
over.
concrete evidence to actually prove that Magnus was at fault here, and he obviously denies it himself. So this is all just alleged. Now let's go down a level into the more disturbing things.
The mom grew-
Hypnotist
what the
Sappho, also known as Valerie, was a 21-year-old, relatively small content creator in the furry community. In the summer of 2021, she started her journey by getting into VR chat and doing hypnosis sessions. They would range from big group sessions to get everybody to relax,
A nice, relaxing, anxiety-free kind of triggers. So
which were safe for work, to not so safe for work solo sessions. She
What
would then
the
take the
hell?
safe for work sessions and upload them on her YouTube channel. And she built a small following by doing exactly that. That is everything you were able to see from the outside. While she seemed like a wholesome person trying to help people in VR chat, she actually was a pretty disturbing individual. Sappa would eventually
Don't tell
be
me.
gray over VR chat, somewhere between July
is it
and
gray?
September of 2021.
Gray is
A
entered the story.
16-year-old teenager. They would talk over Discord, and it would eventually lead to them doing VR online cuddling sessions, and she would kind of take the role as a mother figure in their chats. That eventually escalated to even more inappropriate stuff happening in VR chat. You know, more than just cuddling. Gray fortunately
What the
eventually
hell?
realized that what
Didn't
they
know you
were
could
doing
even-
was very, very weird and
I
borderline
didn't even know you could get down and do like that in a VR chat. It's disgusting.
illegal, so they reported it to the admins of the specific VR chat worlds they visited. The admins swiftly banned Sappho, and she would be perma-banned on the VR chat Discord as well. This is far from over though. Following this ban, Sappho would eventually decide to create her own Discord server for furries and stuff like that. And she would eventually open up a channel for drawn images of animals that were definitely not safe for work, or honestly safe for life. One of the mods, Matcha Tiger,
hell?
confronted Sappho on
Don't
this,
tell me.
essentially
I
asking
don't
if
like
she
where
was
this is
a
going.
She would go on and say that she respected the community as a therapist and doesn't think of it as anything wrong. Because of that, Maucha then decided to cut ties with Sappho and uploaded a tweet or a tweet longer, exposing her as somebody who supports animal love. In order to sweep this controversy under a rug, Sappho would use a very interesting tactic that definitely backfired. September 11th, 2021, Sappho would post a video coming out about things. A 36-minute rant essentially, where she fully admits to being a Zoophobe.
I am a zoophile.
Wait, what the?
I do not have a thing for humans. I am more attracted to dogs, like German Shepherds.
In that video, she tries to justify her love for animals by comparing it to the LGBTQ community, who used to be much less accepted than nowadays, which of course is not the best comparison, given that animals can't really give consent. This very video would gain her a ton of backlash and attention from all corners of the internet, including the furry community. Sappa wouldn't step down and make an apology video though, but she doubled down instead, skipping over her response music video to the haters. She would start an organization called Engagement for Tolerance and Acceptance North America, short ZNA, a group that is supposed to act as a safe space for people like Sappho, who are also zoophiles or interested in this stuff. Less than 2 months later, this organization would crumble, as somebody inside the organization tried to transfer the very little funds they were able to raise into their own private wallets, and the whole organization and marketing was basically built off of lies, but I won't get into that. This still wouldn't be the end of Sappho's controversial history though. You gotta know, Sappho first denied all the allegations of being attracted to minors and doing stuff.
Don't make me do it a third time.
On December 13th, Sappho would fully admit to being a MAP, which stands for Minor Attracted Person, aka
I'm also pedophobic.
and she admitted to it by making multiple tweets arguing that the age of consent is an iffy thing, etc. She would also talk about her being attracted to younger people, but only sometimes. And her excuse was that most of her partners have actually been older than her. All of this would lead to her Twitter account being suspended. Being suspended on Twitter is a different kind of achievement. She would then also be caught talking inappropriately to other 16-year-olds, which also included exchanging explicit images, voice messages, which I've listened to, and I'm severely traumatized, and doing more than just therapy sessions in VR chat again. So the whole not being attracted to humans was a goddamn lie. If you're eating right now, I'm sorry. Brown Nose Pup, aka Messy Tails, is a very
one
mysterious
last screen,
individual.
guys, okay?
You could say he's
One
kind of
last
like an
screen,
urban
it's gonna be
legend.
the
He
10
published his
minutes
first
of
tweet on
time.
July 29th, 2013, letting the world know that he forgot to wipe his butt. He then tweets that he didn't actually forget to wipe, hinting that he actually likes it that way. His entire account is essentially a pretty detailed documentation of his increasingly more brave experiments with, you know, the brown stuff. A typical tweet of his looks like this. I want
Is this
to
guy
be force-fed
experimenting on
meals
his
made with my own
feces? My guy is going. Is this guy Mr. Pissair's cousin?
mess. Peanut butter and sandwiches, chocolate milkshakes,
What the
donuts.
fuck is
His
it?
early days mostly consisted of
My guy
fantasies
wants
and
to
made up
drink
scenarios,
shit.
and this
Eat
continues
shit.
for years.
Why, is that
Years
all
of
you're
him
gonna
just
eat? Your
texting away
diet
about
really
his
has
love
gone
for
to shit,
Nutella
I
and what
guess.
he's been
No
up to
pun
in his life in
intended.
general. For example, in August of 2014, he asked the Twitter people if they have messy dreams and what they're like. Or in November,
Messy
where he described how he's
dreams?
not able
Is that
to
when you-
sit without
is that
leaving
when you
stains.
sleep and you do a
Again,
doo-doo?
I'm really
What?
sorry if you're eating right now. 3 entire years go
Yeah,
by,
guys,
where he
sorry,
buys
I
a
didn't
car,
say it
buys
yet
a
before,
furry
but
suit,
put your
and tries to look
phone.
for an apartment
Right,
where he
just
can live out his messy dreams.
stop if you-
And at this
like,
point, he has
sorry,
sent
Siri,
hundreds of
what am I
tweets with
doing?
little to no attention from the Twitter community. He gets a couple of likes, but that's pretty much it. He basically tweets to nobody. In 2016, he then starts to post pictures as well. And do not look them up, but yes, they do contain the poopy. All over hands, all over objects, etc. And I feel like this caption says enough. Finally, here's what was left after I licked everything clean. It was a good meal. I might need to clean my paws, but I have a tongue for that. So slowly but surely, he went from fantasies to actually doing the things he
just
wanted to
my
do.
lunch for the next 10 years.
All of this very interesting behavior wouldn't go unnoticed either, because in August of 2017, 4 years after his first tweet, Messy Tails tweeted this. Hehe, they can put me in a hospital and make me take pills, but now I'm gone and nobody can stop me from covering myself in the mud. So it's clear that the people around him have noticed his obsession
but you
and
need
tried to keep him
serious
mentally
help.
in check. But it didn't seem to help at all, because just 8 days later he would post,
Like, bro, restrain this guy, force him some,
psychologically,
force him his
irreversibly
meds.
addicted to the stinky. and
S-
can't
don't-
stop eating
don't
cookie.
eat
In a
that.
matter of a few years, it has
Stop
gone from
eating.
some interesting fantasies
Well,
to genuinely
stop!
dangerous
It's that
addiction.
easy.
It already brought him to the hospital once. And his last ever post would be in 2018. Things have been rough lately. I'm going to be okay, but it might take a while. I hope you're all doing well and
Staying
safe."
messy.
And
What
then
the
he would go
does
radio
that
silent.
mean?
About a whole year later, around 2019, Barcrow, a random Twitter user, would reply to one of Messy Tail's posts, saying that he has unfortunately died from an
My
overconsumption
guy-
of his own feces and lack of nutrients. And that is
My
actually
guy
what solidified
died
his name
from
within the
eating
community, Messy
shit.
Tails, the person who because they ate their own
Bro,
matter.
shit from the
But
yards,
there was
fucking
no
dog.
actual proof that this account actually knew what happened to the real Messy Tails. Until 2021, Wang, somebody who also made a video about this interesting individual, messaged the account that said all these things. And it turns out it was just BS. So till this day, nobody knows what
it's
happened to
bullshit.
the real Messy Tails. He might be dead, he might be in the hospital again, or he might still be crunching on his own stuff.
Talk to
Don't Hug
him.
Cacti, or DHC, was a very popular company that created fursuits for furries. They would be highly sought
feel
after
wholesome among
because
this
their
meta
fursuits
slot.
had such high quality
Oh, God.
and cute design.
This is like seeing a mentor character in a movie. Like a war movie where there's like a happy family or something. You know that somebody, you do know that you automatically know that something dark's gonna happen. And it just puts you off. And it just puts you off.
The company was founded by Scuff and Lucky, two people who were very involved in the furry community. But Lucky would be the reason the successful company would catch on fire and would taint her and her husband's image as these friendly, successful furries. It started on September 25th, 2021, when Cutens published a 100-page document on Twitter with dozens of testimonies accusing Lucky of various crimes. Like a document almost worse than the Diddy files. Within a document, there were screenshots of an entire group chat that Lucky was a part of, where she discussed various spicy interests of hers and her being a dom and stuff, with two minors
Hopefully
in the
you're not
group
a
chat, fully
PDF
aware that they were
file.
not of age.
Maybe not
I go
pedo.
through one of the dozens of testimonies to give you a bigger picture. One person stepped forward and talked about their relationship with Lucky. I call this person Fox. Fox explained how she was very close to Lucky and spent a lot of time with her. They would stay on calls for hours on end until it was late at night. And during these late night calls, Lucky would begin to show Fox non-safe for work drawings of furries. Now, Fox was 19 at the time, so it's not illegal, but just
What the
kind of
hell?
weird.
We
But that
don't
continued
need people
until one day, Fox wanted to go to
sexualizing
a party with Lucky.
dogs.
But instead,
Please
Lucky
stop.
allegedly encouraged them to stay at her place to test
Look, I
their
know my
drinking
voice is
limit.
majestic. You
Even
don't
though,
have to
as
tell
the boy
me.
said, Fox was 19 at the time, which made her under the legal drinking age. At some point,
What the?
Fox and Lucky were also more intimate with each other, and Fox described it as a very unpleasant experience. Now, the very next day, Lucky then
It
allegedly
wasn't
proceeded to tell
consensual.
multiple people about what they did.
Bro,
and lied
hopefully my
about
guy
Lucky
grew
taking
some
Fox's first
balls.
time. But the list of accusations goes on. According to Fox and multiple other testimonies, she was fairly open about being a Zoophobe and having her first time with her dog. Now, there was never any actual evidence to prove these allegations, but she did have a public fur affinity account.
You know what,
which is a
guys?
platform
I'm just gonna
that posts
drink
furry
some
art.
water.
And on there,
Okay,
she did
guys?
upload multiple drawings of
Don't
German
worry, I'm still
Shepherds
here.
with
Got
various
water
degrees
next
of
to me.
lewdness. And she drew herself as a dog doing things with German Shepherds. The
What
captions
the
also
hell?
say stuff like, G-Sheps are so handsome, just can't resist, alongside some other comments, which does indicate that she at least had fantasies about this type of stuff. Like, who would genuinely make these drawings and put themselves in these situations just for fun? And the worst thing is, she actually owned a German Shepherd as a pet at that time, which makes this whole situation just even more disturbing. Lucky also had a very
think
long
what I'm
history of
thinking?
treating her pets very badly and neglecting them, with a pattern of
did it with the
adopting or
doggo.
purchasing pets just to
No,
abandon them when
she
they
did it
became
with
too
the
difficult to
doggo.
handle. The document that covered all of this spread like a wildfire, and in order to keep DHC from losing sales and going under, they did a ton of things to try to disprove this, such as making tweets, video statements, and going on podcasts. But all of these attempts weren't enough to disprove the mountains of testimonies that the document had. But somehow, despite all the outrage and hate that Lucky and the company received, the operation is still running and making sales till this day.
Well,
Zelda
Search
Wolf,
for another
aka
boy.
Aaron Thomas Usury, spent a lot of his
What
time on
did you do,
DeviantArt,
bro?
a relatively normal art-sharing platform
DeviantArt-
where he would post
The
art
only
of his
thing I've
furry
heard
identity.
is about
Around
DeviantArt
September
is
of
weird
2014,
stuff.
though, he would meet these two 12-year-old girls who liked his art. And yes, it goes exactly where you think it'll go. He could have just said thank you and that's it, but instead he decided
He
to talk
did
to
it
both
with
of them.
her.
Their relationship started relatively friendly, talking about art and their problems and stuff, but eventually turned more and more inappropriate as they moved from
I'm gonna go cry.
DeviantArt to Skype and Google Hangouts to keep in touch. After
I'm gonna
some
go
time,
cry.
he reached a point where he convinced the girls to send pictures and videos of themselves to Aaron. And of course, he would do the same as well. Now, for whatever reason, he also decided to send a video of him having relations with his dog to the 12-year-old girls. This relationship would go unnoticed for months, until the mother of one of the girls actually discovered their videos and chat logs and reported it to the police. On April 11th, 2015, the police raided Aaron's home and seized all of his devices, such as laptops and phones, etc. And they found all the evidence they needed, and so he was arrested on April 12th and sentenced to 17 years. So for once, somebody was actually punished for their crimes, which unfortunately isn't the case for the next person. Court Kitty, aka Gabriel Sickle, is a 30-year-old furry who has been in the community for years. He makes music and is kind of a dancer, I guess, but he isn't actually known for any of these artistic endeavors of his. He actually made his first waves within the furry community because of his smell. His fursuit apparently reeked so bad that people were actively avoiding him at conventions. It got so bad that somebody even put a note on his door that literally just says stinker. And given that people walk around with a literal mask on their head at these conventions, which makes smelling things a lot harder, this was an achievement for sure. Now, despite all that, he actually managed to get married with, of course, a furry-themed wedding, and he became a father as well. And this is where his first serious controversy begins. Once he actually had a son, he
That sentence is more messed up when it's from a zoophobe. It's like the dog is being done. It's not doing anything. More like, wait, is the dog?
Decided to bring him to a baby fur meetup. A baby fur is essentially a furry who likes to roleplay as a younger character or baby. This community also has a lot of common with the ABDL community, which stands for Adult Baby Diaper Lover, which are adults who like to wear baby clothes and diapers. Obviously now, this can probably be something innocent and stuff, but there's no denying that non-safe for work activities
Remember guys,
are
at the end of the
very
video,
prevalent within these communities. So bringing your actual infant
I'm gonna be
child to such a
screaming
meetup
into
would
this
be
pillow.
very, very
There's
disturbing.
one
Luckily,
last
he decided to not
ultimate
go through
scream
that
of
because
all
of all the
time.
backlash he got from that idea. He himself justified it by saying that the idea of bringing an infant child to a baby for a meetup would be pretty funny, and that his intentions were innocent. Well,
Yeah, it would
Court
be pretty
Kitty
funny,
would also
actually.
be caught following multiple non-safe
That
for work
doesn't
cup accounts on
justify
Twitter.
it.
Cup referring to baby animals, and now combine this with non-safe for work. Yeah,
Oh,
you
God.
kind of get it, right? So he definitely had some kind of attraction to younger beings. On top of that, he also commissioned baby fur art of his own son, which leaves even a worse aftertaste. Now remember when I said he got married? Well, his wife would divorce him just 3 years after because of exactly these reasons, and some more. During the divorce and fight for custody of the children, his wife would point out that he had bookmarked a guide on having relations with dogs. Yes, a tutorial on how to make love to your dog. And he had also saved the Zoophobe website. Zoophobe being people who derive pleasure from hurting animals. Now he would use the excuse of saying, I was just curious though, and pointed out that he would never actually engage in that type of stuff, which doesn't really hold up when his wife also pointed out that she walked in on him when he and his dog were doing things with peanut butter. If you don't know what that means, dogs like to lick peanut butter. Gabe would also straight up admit to his wife that he had relations multiple times with dogs, which isn't far-fetched, because he admitted himself that he enjoys videos of cats mating, and followed and was friends with a ton of furries who were proven to be zoosadists, and straight up just PDF files, and they were actually convicted of their crimes, such as growling, who will come up in just a second. He also talked to a 17-year-old when he was 27, Dr. Disrespect style, and a few more other things. Now, Gabriel still tries to defend all of these allegations and still remains active on social media, even though the entire furry community has essentially shunned him. Mr. Teriyaki and Acid Rain Cloud are a couple in the furry community, and at least Teriyaki would be known for his dance performances during conventions or on YouTube. But both of them would actually rise to semi-celebrity status after one particular conversation was leaked. On August 22nd, 2023, Soul Smoothie would post a chat between their partner and Acid Rain Cloud, where Acid Rain Cloud reveals one very disturbing thing Acid and Mr. Teriyaki like to do in bed. Now, I'm nobody to judge, but I'm definitely gonna judge what they've been doing. Acid reveals that they like to play with fish. Essentially, what they would do is fill Acid Rain Cloud with water and fish, you know, inside. Yeah, some messed up stuff. They would then engage in the act, and most fish would not make it. And the ones that do make it get put back in the bowl. Just wait.
They do sex with the fish inside? My family downstairs probably heard me.
Until they decide to do it again. The self-snitching at this point ends with, it sounds kinda harsh to the fish, but it's kinda amazing.
No,
This
it's
does
not
indeed
amazing to
not
have
sound
dead
amazing. Now
fish
let's
corpses inside of you just because you had sex in a weird way.
get into the darkest and most disturbing furry
For notification. I love when my friends are being dysfunctional on WhatsApp.
roaming this planet. Carol the Wolf was a very popular furry YouTuber. He's been part of the furry community since 2012, probably before some of y'all were even born. He was also in a Shane Dawson video where he was interviewed about his life as a furry, and he was one of the people who made this whole thing more mainstream and portrayed it as just a hobby instead of something weird. But of course, he wouldn't be in this iceberg if things didn't take a very, very dark turn in September of 2018. That month, some of Carol's Telegram logs were leaked, and if y'all know anything about Telegram, some sus behavior goes down there. Those chat logs allegedly showed him involved in some pretty disturbing stuff. It basically revealed that he was a part of a circle of furries who participated in not only Zoophobe, but also necrophilia, animal torture, and discussions of being attracted to minors, which is all very, very illegal. The original leak came from Pseudonym, somebody who was a part of that circle, and a self-proclaimed Zoophobe. But he himself was so disturbed by all of that he just had to leak it, so you can imagine what was going on. The chat contained Caro and other members of the group talking about doing it with animals that are not alive anymore. He describes how he prefers animals who are already not breathing instead of turning them into the stage just for the sake of performing what they want to perform. And a ton of graphic videos were also leaked. And quite a lot of them depict furries inside that group doing the most disturbing things to animals even imaginable. There were so many crimes being admitted in that chat by just Caro alone, such as him doing things to his dog, Oda, and feeling guilty after he passed away. These types of allegations will obviously destroy a person's career, and before those leaks, he was one of the big faces of the furry community, and so the internet did a lot of digging to see if the claims were actually true, and Caro obviously denied all of these allegations by saying that he was hacked, and it was all fake. Communities such as the 4chan community and Kiwi forums analyzed every single message and video that was sent in there. And it would turn out that the Caro that was in the group chat talked about so many intricate details of his life that it would be almost impossible to fake. But one of the biggest pieces of evidence that would prove that Caro was almost 100% part of this group chat and this community would be the Beast Forum, an absolute vile website dedicated to Zoophobe, talking about how they have relations with animals and giving each other advice on that type of stuff. One of the profiles that was active on this very website was called the Dogman 2, just one out of these thousands of registered accounts. But something about this profile was different. On January 22nd, 2012, so way before those leaks would even surface, the Dogman would post a picture of a dog that looked eerily similar to a dog that Caro posted on his public for affinity page. But if you actually look at the dates, Caro's dog was posted on that forum months before it appeared on any public social media of his. So there was no way that the Dogman 2 just ripped off the image off of Caro's page. His other posts on Beast Forum also aligned with the exact timeline of Caro's life. For example, when he moved to a college in Pittsburgh, there was a post from the Dogman asking to meet other zoophiles in the Oakdale area. And coincidentally, Oakdale is a suburb of Pittsburgh. Once people started noticing this suspicious pattern, Caro deleted all of the photos of his dog from his Fur Affinity account. Caro was obviously panicking and trying to erase evidence. The netizens then found a video of a furry having relations with a dog. Terribly disturbing, but putting that aside, the person who appeared in that video shared a lot of similar traits with Caro, such as having the exact same shoes and the exact same sweater. Now the dog that had to be in that video also had the same facial pattern, same white front paws, same white fur on the chest, and same red collar like the dog Coda. It was pretty